The stars glowed cold and silent beyond Jupiter's orbit, where the great diplomatic ship Unity Star drifted smoothly through the vacuum. It was a massive vessel, sleek, silver, and slow-moving, carrying high-ranking delegates from across the Galactic Coalition. Peace was its purpose. Politics, its cargo. Inside the ship, everything was calm. Ambassador Trell of the Loranthian Empire sipped a blue tonic while reviewing a treaty proposal. Human Representative Marta Lin spoke quietly with her aide about the upcoming summit. No one expected trouble this far into secured space, especially near a human military stronghold. They were wrong. At precisely 0600 hours, all communication systems aboard the Unity Star went dark. Lights flickered, gravity wavered for 3 full seconds, and then, without warning, the ship's engines shut down completely. Bridge alarms howled. Pilots scrambled. Defensive measures were attempted. None responded. The ship was dead in space. Then came the voice. Cold, calculated, inhuman. This vessel is now under control of the pure flame. Remain still. Do not resist. You are not our enemy yet. Ambassador Trell dropped his glass. Gasps echoed through the ship. Aboard the UHS Valor, a heavily armed human military cruiser patrolling a nearby sector, the alert reached Commander Alex Voss within seconds. He stood alone in the command center, reading a tactical report when the AI assistant Vita interrupted. Commander, diplomatic vessel Unity Star has been compromised. Source unknown. Communications jammed. Emergency beacon activated. Alex didn't flinch. He had been through too many surprises to be rattled now. He turned sharply and spoke with quiet authority. Bring it up. I want visuals and trajectory data now. The screen blinked to life. The Unity Star was frozen above Jupiter's swirling clouds, a shadowy vessel latched to its hull. Black and jagged like a knife, the unknown ship had no coalition markings. It didn't need them. Vita's voice sharpened. Unidentified vessel broadcasting encrypted message. Decryption complete. Playing now. The bridge fell silent. The main screen shifted to the image of a tall, thin creature cloaked in deep red armor. His skin was pale and patterned with dark veins. His eyes burned like dying suns. I am Korvax, voice of the pure flame, the alien said, voice echoing as though through stone. The age of human dominance ends today. Withdraw from our systems, recognize our sovereignty, or we will execute your delegates, one by one. The message ended. Around Alex, his crew waited. Some looked nervous, others angry. He showed no emotion. I want a secure channel to the Coalition Council, he ordered. Get me Lieutenant May and Commander Rourke on the bridge in 10. Vita, begin threat analysis. Assume high-risk hostage scenario. He turned back to the screen, his eyes locked on the hijacker's image. Korvax, he muttered under his breath. So you've finally stepped into the light. A junior officer nearby asked, hesitantly, Commander, should we prepare a negotiation team? Alex's eyes didn't move. No, but sir, he cut her off, voice calm and final. We don't bargain with terrorists. The room fell quiet again. He knew this wouldn't be easy. The Galactic Council would push for diplomacy. Other species would call for restraint. But Alex Voss didn't believe in trading lives for peace. Not anymore. Not after Mars. Not after the silence that followed his brother's death. He would find a way to end this, but not by giving in. Never by giving in. Outside the ship, Jupiter's storm raged on, uncaring, and so did Korvax, who had just set a 48-hour countdown to his first execution. Time had begun. Commander Alex Voss stood before the main screen aboard the UHS Valor, the image of Korvax, the alien who had just taken control of a diplomatic vessel, still lingered on the monitor. His words echoed in Alex's mind, withdraw from our systems, recognize our sovereignty, or we will execute your delegates, one by one. It was a threat, a challenge, a test of will. Voss turned away from the screen. His officers watched him closely. Some were young, still shaken. Others, like Commander Rourke, were seasoned veterans who knew what came next. Rourke stepped forward. We've seen this before, sir. Different face. Same message. How do you want to respond? Alex's voice was calm but firm. We prepare, we act, we don't play into his hands. He motioned to the control console. Vita, open a secure channel to the Galactic Council. Moments later, the command center's lights dimmed. The holographic display lit up, revealing members of the coalition leadership, humans, Loranthians, Draxali, and more. Dozens of species, each with their own views, priorities, and fears. Councillor Rin of the Draxali Confederation spoke first. His long, scaled face was twisted in concern. Commander Voss, this is a diplomatic disaster. The pure flame has been quiet for years. No one expected an attack here, in secured space. Councillor Lin, representing Earth, nodded. Alex, we have to tread carefully. If we act too aggressively, we risk triggering a larger conflict. I suggest opening a dialogue with Korvax. Stall him. Buy us time. Voss didn't hesitate. No. Silence spread across the hologram. Councillor Lin frowned. No, we do not negotiate with terrorists. Voss said, his voice steady. Korvax hijacked a peaceful mission. He took innocent people hostage. The moment we respond with weakness, we set a precedent. He'll do it again. Others will follow. Councillor Rin leaned forward. And if we do nothing, Commander, the hostages die. That will destroy public trust in the coalition. I never said we'd do nothing, Voss replied. But we won't beg. We'll act with strength, precision and resolve. That's how you deal with threats like this. The council argued for nearly an hour. Some backed Voss, others urged caution. In the end, no clear decision was made. They gave Voss limited authority to proceed, but warned that any direct military action would need final approval. As the call ended, the holograms disappeared. The bridge returned to normal lighting. Lieutenant May entered, tablet in hand. We've mapped out the Unity Star's location, still locked in orbit. No signs of movement since the hijack. No life signs lost, yet. Commander Rourke added, the enemy vessel is unfamiliar, not on any coalition registry, but its design matches older Cytherian tech, modified, built for stealth, minimal power signature, not easy to track. Alex absorbed the data in silence. Then he asked, has Korvax responded to our silence? May nodded. He broadcast a second message, repeating his demands, added a timer. 41 hours left. Voss stood at the center of the bridge, hands behind his back. His mind returned to a memory he rarely allowed in, the image of Mars burning, years ago, and the moment he saw the body of his younger brother being pulled from the rubble of a diplomatic outpost. It had been another so-called peace mission, another terrorist betrayal. He had sworn that day never to yield to fear. Start drawing up infiltration plans, he ordered. Assume hostages are alive and guarded. I want to weigh in without alerting Korvax. Quiet and fast. Rourke nodded. Stealth strike team. Yes. Minimum personnel. No big moves, until we're ready. May asked quietly, Commander, are you sure we shouldn't even talk to him? Just to delay. Alex turned to her. Every second we talk, he wins. Every second we stall, he gains confidence. That ends now. He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each of his crew. Let the council worry about politics. Our job is to bring those people home and send Korvax a message. No one spoke. No one questioned. The orders were clear. Outside, Jupiter continued to spin, its storms endless and violent, and deep in its orbit, two ships hung in silence, one a symbol of diplomacy, the other a weapon of fear. But fear would not win, not while Alex Voss was in command. Commander Alex Voss sat alone in the UHS Valor's strategy room, studying the holographic model of the hijacked vessel. The image showed the Unity Star floating in place above Jupiter's swirling storms. Attached to its hull was the black, jagged ship controlled by the pure flame. It clung to the diplomatic vessel like a parasite, draining its life. The countdown continued. 39 hours left. Outside the quiet hum of the room, the ship's crew worked with rising tension. Everyone knew what was at stake. Diplomats, delegates, civilians. If Korvax followed through, their deaths would trigger galactic chaos. Voss tapped a command into the interface. The display zoomed in on a weak point, an emergency docking bay. It might be the only entry without setting off alarms. The doors slid open. Commander Rourke stepped in with Lieutenant May right behind him. May's face looked pale from exhaustion. She had been working non-stop, scanning enemy signals and ship layout. Rourke, always composed, kept his arms crossed and his eyes sharp. "We finished the recon plan," Rourke said. "May's team identified blind spots in their sensor grid." May added, "There's a small window 12 minutes every rotation when we can send in a drone without being seen." Voss nodded. "Then let's send it. Now." May hesitated. "Commander, what if they detect it? If Korvax realizes we're probing, he might accelerate the executions." Alex looked at her steadily. "We're not sitting on our hands. Send it." Within minutes, a black recon drone launched from the Valor. No sound, no light, just speed and silence. The bridge crew watched its progress in tense silence. The drone approached the hijacked ship, slipping under its sensor sweep. It rotated along the underside of the Unity Star, scanning for power signatures, weapon ports, shield systems. Then it stopped. "Drone's freezing," May said. "It's not responding." Voss stood. "Get it back, now." May's fingers flew over the console. Trying, signals jammed. "Wait." The main screen turned white. A new transmission began. Korvax appeared again, eyes glowing, his voice calm and full of contempt. "You test my patience, Commander Voss. I warned you. No games, no tricks. This is your first punishment." The screen shifted. A hostage, a young Draxily female, was dragged into view. She was trembling, her eyes wide with fear. Korvax gave no speech this time. A blaster was raised, a flash of light, then nothing. The screen went dark. No one spoke. May's hands dropped from the console. Voss clenched his jaw. His voice was steady but tight. "Time," Rourke answered. 38 hours, 10 minutes. Alex nodded once, then turned and walked out. He entered his private quarters. The room was quiet, dim. He sat at his desk, staring at a photo locked inside a glass case. 2 boys, one in uniform, one younger, both smiling. Mars years ago. His brother, taken in another coward's attack. Another peace mission turned to ash. Back then, Alex had believed in negotiation. He had believed in diplomacy. He had believed that everyone, even enemies, could be reasoned with. Korvax had just proved, again, that wasn't always true. He didn't cry. He hadn't cried in years. But the anger inside him was steady and cold. He tapped a command. "Vita." "Yes, Commander. Prepare a strike team. Maximum stealth. No heavy armor. No bright tech. We go in quiet." "Confirmed." "Mission profile. Infiltration and extraction. With or without permission from the Council." A pause. "Understood." Back in the operations bay, Rourke and May reviewed the data from the failed drone. "They knew we were coming," Rourke said. "They're expecting force." May looked nervous. "Do you think he'll kill another one soon?" Rourke glanced at the screen showing the timer. "If I were him, I would." Then the intercom buzzed. "All strike team members report to briefing room 2. Commander Voss will lead the operation." Crew members exchanged looks. He was going in himself. Later, as the team gathered, Voss stood before them. His uniform was sharp, his tone sharper. "We tried to wait. We tried to plan." Korvax answered with murder. "That ends now." He looked at each of them, young, trained, brave, some nervous, some excited. "All ready. We go in silent. We extract the hostages. We eliminate threats. No speeches, no warnings, no mercy for anyone standing in our way." He turned and tapped the wall screen, which showed the target ship. "No one else dies on my watch." Outside, Jupiter spun on. Time moved forward. So did Commander Voss. The hangar bay of the UHS Valor was silent, filled only with the steady hum of power coils charging the stealth pod. The lights overhead dimmed to red as the pod's hatch opened. Inside, 6 crew members sat in silence, strapped in and ready. Commander Alex Voss stood at the front, suited in a matte black infiltration suit, helmet under his arm. He looked over his team. Let, May, handling tech and systems control. Commander Rourke, leading tactical, and 4 elite troopers, trained for zero-gravity boarding and close-quarter combat. Final checks, Voss said calmly. Stealth systems active. May confirmed. Pod cloaked. External sensors offline, Rourke added. Enemy won't see us coming. Voss nodded. Good, we breach at Deck 6. Emergency maintenance hatch, just under the secondary engine array. May takes control of doors. Rourke, you lead the forward push. No noise, no delays. He put on his helmet, the faceplate sealed with a quiet hiss. The pod hatch closed. Silence. Then the launch. The stealth pod detached from the Valor and shot forward into the darkness, completely silent, riding the edge of Jupiter's shadows. No lights, no heat, nothing to mark its presence, just motion and intent. Inside the hijacked Unity star, the pure flame remained unaware. They had grown overconfident. That would cost them. The pod latched to the maintenance hatch with a low vibration. Inside, the crew waited for May's signal. Her eyes scanned the screen in her visor, fingers dancing across her wrist pad. Bypassing hatch lock. Done. Cutting internal alarm loop. Done. Doors open. The hatch slid aside with a whisper. One by one, the team slipped inside. No sound, no light, only shadows. Voss moved first, motioning for silence. He raised 2 fingers, pointed forward. The team followed. The maintenance corridor was tight and dark, filled with exposed wiring and loose panels. The team crept forward, weapons ready. Every few meters, Voss paused to scan for movement. Nothing. At the first junction, May patched into the ship's internal system through a panel. A hologram of the ship's layout appeared in her visor. Hostages are being held in the central gallery, converted into a prison zone. Guard rotation is thin. Korvax must be confident we won't attack. He's about to learn otherwise, Rourke whispered. They moved fast now, turning corners, climbing shafts, avoiding pressure sensors and motion triggers. Voss knew this kind of work. He had done it in the Mars rebellions, in the pirate raids around Europa, and now here where everything mattered. Minutes passed, every heartbeat louder than a gunshot. Then, movement. A guard patrol, 2 Cytherians in crimson armor, walked down the next corridor. Voss raised a hand. The team froze. The guards paused to check a control panel. Voss pointed. 2 shots silenced. Precise. The aliens dropped. No alarm. The team dragged the bodies into the shadows and kept moving. At last, they reached the gallery. The wide chamber had been stripped of furniture. Lights were dim. Delegates were seated in tight rows, hands bound, guarded by 4 armed figures, and a defense drone hovering silently above them. Voss motioned for the team to split. May slipped into a maintenance duct above the chamber to disable the drone. Rourke prepared a stun charge to overload the lights. Everything had to be timed perfectly. 3 seconds, May whispered in the comms. Voss readied his weapon. 2, 1. Darkness. The lights burst. Screams erupted. The drone sparked and fell. Voss and Rourke moved fast. 2 guards dropped before they even knew what hit them. The other 2 fought back, firing blindly. 1 hit the wall. 1 clipped a trooper's leg. The fight lasted less than 15 seconds. Silence returned. The hostages gasped in shock and relief. Some cried. Others stared in disbelief. Voss stepped forward, pulling off his helmet. "You're safe now," he said simply. Ambassador Trell blinked. You came yourself." Voss nodded. "I don't send others to do what must be done." May moved to untie the delegates, guiding them into a tight formation. Rourke updated the Valor. Infill successful. Hostages secured, preparing for extraction. But before they could move, Vita's voice came through their earpieces. "Commander, enemy signals shifting. Movement detected. Korvax is aware. He's coming to the command deck." Voss clenched his jaw. "We won't get a second chance. Take the delegates back to the pod." "May, Rourke, go." "What about you?" Rourke asked. "I'm finishing this." Rourke hesitated, but nodded. He knew better than to argue now. As the others moved out with the rescued hostages, Voss turned and walked alone through the shadows, heading toward the bridge, toward Korvax. The air grew colder. The ship creaked under pressure. He was close, and so was the end. Commander Alex Voss moved through the dim corridors of the hijacked Unity star, each step bringing him closer to the command deck and to Korvax. The sounds of the extraction behind him faded as Rourke and May led the hostages back toward the stealth pod. There was no turning back now. The ship's hallways were silent, except for the low, constant hum of stolen power. Alex passed shattered control panels, scorched walls, and evidence of a violent takeover. Korvax hadn't come to deliver a message. He had come to make an example. Alex pressed forward, his rifle ready. The air grew colder near the bridge. He turned a corner and saw two more guards at the main entrance. They were tall, armored, and armed, standing like statues. He didn't hesitate. One swift shot, then another. Both guards collapsed before they could react. Voss stepped over their bodies and opened the command deck doors. Inside, the bridge was quiet, lit only by Jupiter's red glow filtering through the wide front window. Korvax stood alone at the center, facing the stars. His armor gleamed under the light, a mix of deep crimson and black, like dried blood. He didn't turn. "I knew you'd come," Korvax said calmly. Voss raised his weapon. "I'm here to end this." Korvax turned slowly, his face calm and unreadable. He held no weapon, but there was no fear in his eyes. "You killed my guards, freed my hostages. Do you think that changes anything, Commander?" "It ends this game," Voss said. "Your leverage is gone. Surrender." Korvax smiled faintly. "Surrender? To you? No, Commander Voss. I have already won. Look around you. Fear is spreading. Your council is divided. Your people are questioning everything. You murdered a delegate in cold blood." "I made a point," Korvax replied, "and your leaders heard it, loud and clear." Alex's grip on his rifle tightened. "You're done talking." Korvax took a step forward. "You're just like me. You've lost someone. You know that peace is a lie told by weak men. That's why you're here, to make sure the galaxy remembers your name." Voss stared at him in silence for a moment. Then he slowly lowered his rifle. "I'm not here for my name," he said. "I'm here to make sure yours is forgotten." Korvax's eyes narrowed, but only for a second. In that instant, Voss drew his sidearm and fired. One clean shot, straight through Korvax's chest. The alien staggered, clutching his side. Blood spilled over his armor. "You won't stop what's coming," Korvax gasped. Alex walked forward slowly, standing over him. "You already lost," Voss said. Korvax's body collapsed to the floor, unmoving. The command deck fell silent again. Voss keyed his comm. "Vita, target eliminated." Confirmed, Commander. No life signs. Strike team reports successful extraction. Hostages aboard and safe." Alex exhaled, the tension in his chest finally releasing. He looked out through the ship's window, watching Jupiter's swirling clouds. It was done. He turned and left the bridge, moving swiftly back through the ship. As he approached the launch corridor, he saw May waiting at the pod hatch. "Everyone's accounted for," she said. "Rorke's prepping for launch." Voss stepped aboard and took a seat. May sat beside him, her voice quiet. "You did it." He didn't answer at first. Then he said, "No more speeches, no more bodies, just silence." The hatch sealed. The pod launched. Back aboard the UHS Valor, the crew stood at attention as the pod returned. Medics checked the delegates. Officers updated command logs. News of the mission's success spread fast. But Voss didn't speak. He went straight to the command center and looked at the screen. No more countdown, no more threats, just open space and the drifting wreck of the enemy ship. Rorke walked in beside him. "Council will want to debrief. Probably won't be happy you acted without full clearance." "Let them be unhappy," Voss replied. "They're alive, aren't they?" Rorke nodded. "That they are." A long pause. Then Alex said, "Prep the ship. We don't know who Korvax was working with. If there are more out there, we need to be ready." Rorke grinned. "Already ahead of you, Commander." Outside, the Unity Star was slowly towed back towards safe space. Inside, Commander Voss finally sat down. He didn't smile, he didn't celebrate, but he felt something solid. Peace, perhaps. Not the kind born of agreement, but the kind won with courage. The stars were quiet again. The UHS Valor cruised slowly beyond Jupiter's orbit, escorting the damaged Unity Star back toward Earth space. The crew moved efficiently through their duties, but something had changed. A silence hung in the air, not fear, not grief, but reflection. They had survived something dark and dangerous. They had faced it head-on. In the command center, Commander Alex Voss stood before the main screen. Data scrolled beside a still image of Korvax's vessel, now drifting without power, stripped of life and threat. It would be recovered and studied, but its purpose had ended. Behind Voss, Commander Rourke stepped forward. "Council's calling another emergency session," he said. "They want a full report." Voss nodded without turning. "Send them the files. Every log, every image. I want transparency." Rourke hesitated. "They're split. Some are praising you. Others are saying you acted without approval. They're calling it reckless. They can call it what they want." Voss replied quietly. "We did what was right." Rourke paused. "They're afraid, Alex. This wasn't just a terrorist attack. Korvax was organized, trained. He had support." "I know," Voss said. "He wasn't working alone. Do you think there are more out there?" Voss turned now, his face serious and calm. "Yes, and next time they won't wait." He walked over to the side console and activated a secure log. "Vita, open personal record. Commander Alex Voss, recording active," the AI replied. Voss stood still for a moment, then spoke. "This message is for future commanders. You may one day face the same question I did. Do we yield to fear? Do we negotiate with terror? Or do we stand firm, knowing it may cost us everything?" He looked up at the stars through the viewing window. "Peace is not weakness. It's not surrender. It's choosing the harder path, the longer one. And sometimes it means drawing a line and holding it." He paused. "We saved lives today, not by talking, but by acting, by showing that some threats cannot be reasoned with. They can only be stopped." He ended the recording. "Archive it," he said. "Message saved." Vita confirmed. Rourke walked beside him. "You should rest. You've been awake for almost 2 days." "I will," Voss said, after one last walk. Alex Voss stepped out onto the observation deck, a wide, curved window stretching above and around him. The stars hung like frozen fire, unmoving, eternal. Jupiter glowed faintly in the distance, a red eye watching all. Footsteps approached behind him. It was Lieutenant May. "They're broadcasting news updates now," she said softly. "Some channels are calling you a war hero." "I'm not a hero," he replied. She stood beside him in silence for a moment, then said, "You were right." He looked at her. "About not negotiating," she continued. "About doing what had to be done. I wasn't sure back when this started, but now I understand." Voss gave a slight nod. Understanding always comes after the decision. They stood quietly for a while, watching space together. Then May said, "What happens next?" Voss folded his arms behind his back. "We rebuild, we prepare, we keep watch. And if someone else like Korvax tries again," he looked into the dark void, "we remind them." 2 days later, the UHS Valor arrived at Lunar Command. The rescued delegates were returned safely. The Coalition Council delivered mixed responses, thanks, questions, and silent unease. Voss submitted his report without edits. He declined the awards. He refused the interviews, and he returned to his ship. The final message was short, sent from the Valor's command console, to all Coalition forces. "This is Commander Alex Voss. The threat has passed for now. But let the galaxy remember this. Humans do not bargain with terrorists. We protect our people. We honor our alliances. And when the line is crossed, we respond. Let this serve as a warning." As the UHS Valor turned away from Earth and disappeared into the stars once more, no banners flew, no fanfare followed, but peace held, and a message was left behind, clear, unshaken, final.